What's it going to take, though? That sounds good in theory, but if you're out there and you want one of these green jobs, what is it going to take in order for this to really happen?
Sometimes you might need a little retraining, but the most thing is a positive attitude. We need to change our value system. We need to see all these jobs as respectable, as jobs that are enduring, as jobs that are in my own personal self-interest. When I see somebody cleaning the street and picking the garbages and try to sort them out, I don't look at them as maybe they are lower paid, but I see them as somebody important to the existence and survival of the planet itself.
That's benefiting everybody.
Exactly.
What else?
And to add to that, Belma, we need to provide better ways and roads for all workers, to prosper together. As far as we need to emphasize on our community, and
so people need to know this information
right, and
that we're talking about now.
Right. So we have, investments here that cannot be outsourced, where everyone here can, have these jobs instead of.
Oh, you like that? Huh? Isn't that a problem in the economy now that so many jobs are sent overseas? How can the green collar economy work on that problem? How can we address that problem?
I feel that we just need to acknowledge and look at the things that we're doing, the things that we produce. It's not the jobs that have been transported overseas that has been done because these companies want to make it more profitable for themselves. There are things and there are jobs that are here that cannot be outsourced.
Like what?
For example, we cannot do, doesn't make any sense for us to take our garbage instead of being recycled here to transport it to someone else. So that cannot be outsourced. That will always be here. We will always make waste, and collectively we need to consciously understand that this can be reused.
So once we get that green job created, that stays here. It's a permanent job.
Correct.
You can raise your family for life on that kind of career. That's certainly not something to look down upon.
Belma.
Yes. A couple more comments?
The city colleges.
Yeah, actually, that's what I wanted to raise.
Wright
Right here in the
College.
city colleges,
Yeah.
Wright College has an environmental technology program, and you can get an associate in applied science or a certificate if you're already out working in environmental technology, which deals with hazardous waste and environmental checking and recycling. So right here in the city colleges.
You can get to learn about these industries, get those good green jobs that turn into careers that last for life, and you can take care of your family.
Absolutely.
Whether you were incarcerated, whether you're highly educated at the moment, everybody can participate.
And Belma, not only that, I know also, in addition to Wright College, I know here at Kennedy King, and this is probably true at all campuses, we're trying to make all the campuses green. I know we had a meeting just yesterday where we're trying to make the campuses green, even if it involves reducing waste on our part. Even though we were talking about urban areas earlier with environmental justice, urban areas only take up 2% of the whole Earth's surface, but we produce 75% of waste, and that's what's going to kill us. So we need to start now on our campus.
We're going to take questions from the audience in just a moment, so if you have one, just go right to the mic and right after this comment. So anyone who has a question.
But a big point that we have to make is that we shouldn't just wait until everybody's in college, that we should actually go back to when children are just learning how to recycle, what it means to recycle, how to plant trees and things like that within grammar schools, high schools, and all along the educational system. Because I know in a lot of high schools that they're actually teaching environmental science but have nothing to do with global warming, turning green, because all the books are still having it as just a theory.
Right. So that's part of the knowledge gap we've got to close by starting younger. We have a young man here who has a question. Give me 1 second to get this question, sir.
We mentioned outsourcing of resources earlier today. And what do you guys think about the fact that America is sending a lot of their trash and recyclables to other countries and throwing their, basically outsourcing their pollutants on them?
Other countries like where? Canada and Mexico?
No, more like China or India. And places in the East more often, and
is that
just
true?
third world countries.
I think what Chris is pointing out is that some of our electronic wastes are shipped to China, where they pull them apart, and the rest is dumped into the surroundings, which and these electronic parts have a lot of hazardous materials in them. What the point was raised earlier was we don't want to outsource jobs elsewhere. And these jobs are in the installation of solar panels, retrofitting of buildings to make them more energy efficient. Now, in order for us to be more responsible, we cannot also, as the gentleman said, or asked, or raised, ship our waste elsewhere and have them worry about that.
We don't want to export our problems.
Exactly. In other words, we have to abide by the new pillars of the green movement. We should have equal opportunity for all people, equal protection for all people, and respect or reverence for all creation.
Because it's one planet. Give them a hand for that. We have another question in the audience. Yes, ma'am?
Good afternoon. I'm a student from KKC. My name is Arletha Head, and I wanted to know, seems that this is a collective effort from the citizens and the government, and we all know that the politicians only work for the people where the money come from.
And what's your question?
What is it that we can do to change the fact that some of us do call out politicians and we do reach out to our legislators and they don't do anything because we don't have the resources?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Who would like to address that?
But, you know, I think, Velma, here's what's happening today. I think it's a movement. And the movement that took place back when Obama was elected, the youth movement made a difference. We're now educating in the right place, the youth. And the youth of tomorrow are speaking loud and clear.
But what about today? She's making a point. She's making a point. What about today? What if you've tried to talk to the government and you've gotten no response?
Well, I think that a couple of things. One is what we're discussing in a lot of ways is like a human rights violation to a lot of people. And what one person speaking to the government doesn't create a lot of change. Many voices speaking to the government consistently and loudly forces a change to happen. We saw that in the civil rights movement. We've seen that in the women's movement. Change does happen. It happens slowly, and you have to be persistent and active and find a place where you find passion in, and then take that to the next level. If there are 100 signatures on a petition to the congressman, that's a lot different than one signature. And so we have to get together, and that's a lot of what this panel is about, is getting together, putting aside our differences, and seeing how we're all negatively affected by what's going on right now.
Just to add a little comment on that, the word hope is very important in this. If we try at first and we are not having breakthrough, we shouldn't give up because the future is still much what we are working for.
That's so true. I've lived in a lot of different kind of neighborhoods. I've lived in neighborhoods that didn't feel empowered and others that did. And what I noticed, the difference is that one side, the side that gets results, never quits. It's beyond hope. It's demanding. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Adriana White. I'm also a student here at KKC. And one of my questions is that I had listened to the gentleman who spoke on Argyle Gardens and the waste ground that it's built on. And I went to school out there, and one of my questions is, why is this the first time it's being spoken or, preached about, publicly, and can he elaborate more on it?
Do you want to address that?
Yeah, I can.
Unfortunately, anything bad that is seen as possibly controversial to the masses or the social elites is going to be hidden. It isn't so much as of the information wasn't out there. It's just that they didn't seek or purposely withheld some of the information to stop us from acting as a whole. The soil in Inglewood also is completely contaminated with mercury and other things, so it's extremely hard for us to plant food and everything inside our own homes.
She wants to know why she's hearing about this now. Who's suppressing that information?
The people who are the powers that be, the ones that have the eco elitists.
Who? I mean, because honestly, honestly. Who is that?
Who is that guy?
The people that run the housing projects that set up these communities with low-income families and things like that.
What are you saying? That someone who manages the housing complex should say, hey, you can't put that in this neighborhood?
Well, yeah, they should know if they're building there. They should know what's there before they start building.